Hello everyone, this is Powell Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about a dynamic pattern that's going to be setting up a snowstorm as well as some extreme winds out ahead of it. So before we do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. All right, so let's delve right into it. What you're looking at here is the overall snowfall map over the next week, and you can see we've got a pretty snowy pattern setting up over the U.S. for Christmas week. We've got a lot of snow coming in for the Northwest, and yes, we even got a little bit of snow to talk about for you guys in the Southeast as well as the Northeast. So let's kind of walk you through the details and how all this is going to play out. By the 21st, your first official day of winter, we have what they call an atmospheric river of moisture coming in from the northwest. We have a 986 millibar low pressure that's going to bring a lot of rain, flooding rains to Washington and Oregon for the interior regions. And then once it heads inland, that'll transfer into snow once it starts to tap in to some of this Arctic air that's actually going to be coming down the pike by the 22nd. This low pressure pretty much traverses from west to east along the U.S.-Canadian border. And along that, where that's going to be tapping into some of that colder air, you're going to be transferring it to snow on the back side of it. And this will be some heavier snow at times as this moves off to the east. But yeah, by Wednesday morning, the 23rd, you can see that low pressure is pretty much all the way into Minnesota by now. So southern parts of Canada will be picking up the snow by then, as well as parts of Minnesota. But down below, that's where this kind of sets the stage for the snow track and the snowstorm that's going to be hitting parts of the southeast and eventually headed up to the Ohio Valley into the northeast. So you can see the temperature gradient back behind it. We've got a pretty dynamic pattern setting up. You can see the cold air intrusion on the north side of it, dumping in that Arctic air coming in from Canada. And we've got very warm air on the south side. And this will be tapping into some of that Gulf moisture as it moves along to the east, and the temperature gradient is going to be pretty extreme. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as we get into Wednesday night, heading into Christmas Eve morning, you can see this area low pressure starting to develop from the southwest. That'll tap into some of that Gulf moisture. These water temperatures in the Gulf are still fairly warm for this time of year. And on the back side of it, that's where we're going to see starting the snow break out as this colder air starts to intrude into the pattern. So we could get some snow starting to break out into Indiana and parts of Michigan. And as this kind of traverses along, we'll start to see that snow kind of break out into Kentucky as well. But as we kind of move along, this low pressure only deepens and kind of intensifies it as it moves along further east. It'll tap into some more of that Gulf moisture and drag down that colder air in that deformation zone. That transfer, that's when it's going to have that overriding conditions and that push down to the further south. So this is implying by, as we get into almost Christmas Eve, overnight on Christmas Eve morning, that transfer of snow will start to get deepen into Tennessee now. And then if we take it on to another frame, this could extend even further parts into the southeast. I mean, places like Alabama, places like northern Georgia could pick up snow flurries, at least snow flurries by then. It's hard to tell exactly how far south this colder air is going to be able to intrude, because there's going to be a very thin line of very warm air to the south and a very cold air to the north. And so that cold air will start to kind of press and keep further south and, press down further south. And to the north, it'll be that snow to break out by Tennessee, getting into parts of North Carolina, extreme parts of western North Carolina by then. And this will eventually move up the coast to the Ohio Valley, getting into Pennsylvania by then. But if we take it out to another frame, this is when it starts to really getting kind of really setting the stage for a pretty dynamic event setting up by we're talking, this is Christmas Eve night. We have a 998 millibar low pressure. We've got a lot of snow on the north side breaking out into West Virginia, into Virginia by then, getting into western parts of PA. And then we've got a lot of rain just out ahead of it. I mean, these are going to be heavy thunderstorms at time out ahead of it. So there's going to be a thin line of where you're going to have a lot of rain and a lot of snow. So, and you can see this demarcation line. I mean, we're talking, if you live in western PA by, Christmas Eve night, you're going to be picking up a pretty good snowstorm. But on the eastern side, you're going to be like, it's raining, it's like 60 degrees, and I don't know what you're talking about, because it can be like a 40-degree spread in temperatures depending on where you live, because that low pressure is going to be down to a 988 millibar by then, and you can see the temperature gradient and what I'm talking about. This thermal gradient is pretty extreme. So we've got this Arctic air pouring in from the north. We've got well below average temperatures over the Ohio Valley, getting into the southeast. And then we have above average temperatures just out ahead of it. I mean, so this sharp line is about a 40-degree drop. And so it depends on where you live. And this will continue to push further east as we get closer into Christmas and on Christmas Day. So you can see the temperatures on what I'm talking about. That is some extreme cold air. That's the coldest air of the season coming in from Canada. We're talking 20-degree below zero temperatures and southeastern parts of Canada, and those below zero temperatures will actually kind of filter down into Minnesota, and that cold air intrudes all the way down, and this is overnight on Christmas Eve. So all the way down into the deep south, into the southeast, getting into the 20s. And parts of the Carolina, as well as Georgia, and even parts of Alabama by then. So, and then, look at the temperature gradient. Let me just kind of zoom into the northeast and what I'm talking about. I mean, this is literally like, Christmas Eve night. And we're talking 20 degrees in eastern PA, and we're talking almost 60 degrees in western PA. So about a 40-degree temperature spread as this continues to shift east. And so out ahead of it, you're going to be picking up some extreme winds in this area where that sharp thermal gradient really takes place. And look at the map down below. I mean, this maxes out at 90 miles an hour max gust. And so just offshore, you'll be picking up almost 80 to 90 mile per hour winds. But some of those heavier winds will filter into inland. So, I mean, there's a good chunk of 60 plus mile per hour wind gust coming up. This is like 9 o'clock on a Christmas Eve night. And so a good chunk of, the Northeast into New York, into, parts of New Hampshire, into Vermont, this whole area will be picking up a good swath of 60 plus miles an hour. And this will continue on into Maine as well as this colder air starts to press as we extend further into Christmas. And you can see the line. I mean, what I'm talking about. So this is be overnight on Christmas Eve. This is like midnight on Christmas Eve night, bringing some heavier snow into Pennsylvania and upstate New York. They'll be picking up a lot more snow where they've just had a lot of snow. And that some of that snow will extend in possibly northern parts of New Jersey. But again, there's a big sharp where you'll be seeing a lot of rain and then a lot of snow. So as this continues to press, this only deepens down to a 980 millibar by then, and it will continue to intensify down to a 975 once it gets into Canada and kind of starts to kind of wind down. But it'll be a lot of snow on the backside for you guys in Maine as well. So, and as this continues to push, this will kind of peter itself out by the time we get into the afternoon of Christmas Day. But back behind it, wherever that snow head falls, this is your afternoon temperatures for Christmas Day. So if you received snow from this event, I mean, this is your afternoon temperature. So that snow will not melt by Christmas Day, because we're going to be in the teens for these are your high temperatures coming up on Christmas Day, and as 20s and even down to the 30s and down to the southeast. So a lot of this stuff is just not gonna melt, and you can see where the snowpack has fallen into Pennsylvania down in the single digits, and these are afternoon temperatures on Christmas Day. So that's some pretty frigid air, and so this is what's going to fall as liquid form. So out ahead of it, we're going to have what they call an atmospheric river that will bring a lot of rain in liquid form in interior portions of Washington and as well as Oregon. And some of these could pick up almost 10 inches this week, where they've got flood watches and warnings going to be out for over the next several days. And then out ahead of it, where that storm track traverses in liquid form, a lot of this will be either rain or snow. And then the snowfall map is pretty impressive with that atmospheric river. This will be all liquid on the interior portions, but once it gets inland, you'll be picking up a lot of snow into the higher elevations. And then especially as we get into Montana and then get into the Dakotas and Minnesota, and this will traverse across, and depending on how low that storm track is able to get and how cold that air is going to be traveling all the way down to the southeast, yeah, it's not out of the question that you can't pick up some snow flurries, at least in northern parts of Alabama as well as Georgia. But I would say especially in Tennessee and western parts of the Carolinas, especially as you get into Kentucky, into Virginia, West Virginia, parts of the Ohio Valley, Pennsylvania, New York, all parts of the Northeast. Yeah, I do expect a white Christmas for you guys. So that's kind of give you a layout of this dynamic system that's going to be on the table as we head towards Christmas. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.